Mr. Robson, during your testimony, you talked about the number of homes that are in inventory out there that we've been able to bring them down as a result of the tax credit. Can you give me an idea how many excess homes we have in America right now that we need to get rid of?
You know, specifically, I mean, I've heard anywhere 2 to 3 million.
Okay.
The problem is
What's
the
the normal-
pipeline kind of keeps filling.
What's the normal amount of inventory, let's say, over the last 10 years? What was the average inventory on something like that?
Yeah, average inventory is around 6 months, so probably around 1 million.
Around 1 million. Okay, so we're 2 to 3 times what we normally have. Is that correct?
Correct.
If we don't extend the tax credit, how long would it take to get rid of that excess?
I don't know. It's going to be a very, very slow recovery.
If we implement the tax credit, how long would it take to get rid of that?
It will certainly speed it up by 2 or 3 years, a couple of years, I would think. And it depends on whether you're just extending it or expanding it.
Right.
If you expand it, it's going to shorten the time frame.
That was my next question.
Okay.
But I was also getting to, it looks to me like we don't need to go out and build anymore. We have this excess, and because it's excess, we're holding prices down. Is that a fair statement?
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to
I know you're in the
paint
home building.
a very broad brush.
Yeah.
You know, certainly in specific markets and in specific segments of markets, probably don't need to build anymore. In Oklahoma, we need houses. So it depends on the market. I mean, real estate is very, very local in nature. And frankly, we're looking at lows starts not seen since 1940. So essentially, we are building no houses.
Okay.
And if you look at the new home inventory, it is down substantially. It's the foreclosures of existing inventory that is really swamping the market. It's not because of new construction, though new construction is where the jobs are.
Okay. Thank you.
One other thing on the expansion, what we're seeing, and I think some of the other panelists have said, you're seeing the most activity in the entry-level market. We're not seeing the ripple effect up that we normally see. And I think probably the reason for that is people are underwater on their home. They're going to sell their house. They have no money left. So,
okay, let me have a follow-up question on that, along that line. You know, one of the suggestions was made here that we need to raise the Fannie and Freddie loan limits from 417 to 625. At what point do you no longer have an incentive to purchase a home? I mean, if someone's going to buy $1 million house, $8,000 isn't going to be incentive to go buy that house. At what point is enough? Is the value of the home more than, and people who buy that level of house, is it no longer attractive? Is this 417 to 465, is that where we need to be?
I don't know where it needs to be. Certainly I would be supportive of that. The problem is when you get past the conforming loan limits and into the jumbo market, there is no money. If you look at where the market is right now, Fannie and Freddie have 33%, or FHA has 33% of the market, and Fannie and Freddie have the rest. There is no other private mortgage money, which normally would fund those mortgages on the higher end.
Okay, thank you. I've got my time's about out here, so I need to move on to another question. Mr. Pryor, you mentioned something ago about title folks are regulated. Can you tell us how you're regulated?
Yes, sir. Both states regulate their title industry because of the locality of the state laws that regard property rights. You have to know how property is transferred in a particular state, and you have state insurance departments that regulate those. In addition, at the federal level, we have HUD under the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act that regulates the closing process.
Do you still allow discounting of premiums?
Sir?
Is there still discounted premiums going on?
The premiums are not regulated in every state in the same manner. Some states do allow some discounting of premiums. Other states require the premium to be at the published rate that the department sets.
Okay, because I know in the past, that's where some of the problems have been with title insurance folks, is the fact there's discounting going on. They try and go out and buy the business. As a result, that entity goes under because it priced itself out of the marketplace.
That clearly is an issue that is and has been being addressed, and it is localized in certain marketplaces where the state regulation is not as encompassing, shall we say, as it is perhaps in some other states.
What's the enforcement on something like that?
You know, it depends from state to state in that particular environment. Now, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, you know, does in fact take a look at the purpose behind the discounting, if there were a thing of value being given as an inducement, as you were calling, for the referral of business. So that's a federal enforcement action.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate your indulgence.